and welcome to the Real World, STAC Edition. My name is Liz Kaminski, and joining me today are two fellow reporters, Matt Cavallo and Craig Altman. Today, we will be discussing and exploring how St. Thomas Aquinas College prepares students and graduates for the real world, the job process, and just how STAC can be the key to a future career.
That's right, Liz. I recently met up with STAC graduate Ryan Fitch from the class of 2013. He's currently an associate at Wild Frog Studio, dealing with content marketing and client services. And he was able to share some of his thoughts on the changing communications industry and give advice to the current students.
We use essentially whatever we need to use, and it's important to stay connected as far as where your customers are going, because ideally that's what you're using them for, is to engage with your customers. That being said, the different platforms appeal to different audiences. So for B2C, or business to consumer, if you're selling directly to consumers, generally you're going to look towards the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, what have you. But we'll use any number of them. Right now, I can absolutely say we're using Instagram, Vine, Twitter, Vimeo, Facebook, and YouTube as well. The list goes on. But then there's also the kind of other hemisphere, which is business to business, which is what Wild Frog Studio is. Business to business, when your clients or your customers, so to speak, are businesses. And to reach them, you need to be in a different space because they operate differently in different spaces. So we use more LinkedIn, and I'm sure a lot of students, especially STAC students, are familiar with LinkedIn. Yeah. That is where you need to develop a skill set for yourself, and as well as for business to business. That is kind of where we have to operate, because it's a different atmosphere, it's a different landscape.
Yeah, Ryan really had some great advice about the new media aspect and the social media aspect that students should definitely keep in mind, right guys?
Definitely. STAC has such great courses to offer to introduce students to that before entering the real world, to really prepare them for it.
Yeah, and it's a major market right now. I would say a lot of people, a lot of companies are looking for people, especially young people, who know how to use social media from a business perspective rather than just for entertainment or for their own fun.
Yeah, it's very important to build your resume and communications, and I think STAC is a perfect place to do that. Then Ryan gave some internship advice to the students in the communications field that attend STAC.
It definitely takes those types of experiences to actually know what you're best suited for and what you really end up wanting to do, and that includes everything from the actual day-to-day responsibilities to the path that you're following. You need to kind of visualize what that path is, and you have to decide if that's the kind of path you want to follow. So to see that in that type of industry was crucial to where I am today.
Ryan then discussed how STAC prepares you for the real world.
Took Marketing 101. I mean, everyone, communications, I believe, has to take Marketing 101. So that was a nice foundation for me. But then I also took New Media Communications, which was studies in social media and other developing medias that eventually become, major players. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of change that happens, especially in the marketing industry. So to stay up and current with these new trends is huge, and to have that opportunity within the STAC setting was definitely huge in my development.
That was my interview with Ryan Finch. Thank you again, Ryan, for coming to the studio and doing the interview.
Great to see STAC alumni doing well after graduation. Ryan did have some great advice to students and the different resources and ideas to keep in mind when carving out a career path. Another great resource to students can be found right in Upper Vermont, right, Craig?
That's right, Liz. I sat down with Maureen Mulhan, who is the Director of Career Services, and give some great tips about getting ready for the real world, from dining etiquette to simple resume writing tips.
The dining etiquette specifically is a great event that students can come, and we meet over at the private dining hall in McNellis Commons, and they actually learn etiquette of how to eat, what fork is used for what, and spoon, but also the main importance I see in that is that as a professional, you may be interviewed or taken to lunch by a professional out in the real world, and or sometimes there's professional development programming or networking events that you might attend. So it's important to understand the etiquette of, right down to, when can you eat? Should you wait for the person who took you to lunch to receive their meal or take their first bite? How do you know what to order based on what they're ordering? So we give you tips for how to handle yourself in the professional world.
Really great that Maureen takes the time to focus on etiquette that one may never think about but can really be beneficial for a recent college graduate having to impress clients while representing their company. Next, Maureen mentions some key tips for students who are putting their resume together. Check it out here.
Some key tips are always think in terms of the reader. What is the person who's looking at your resume looking to find? So if you're going, for example, for a marketing internship and you have some marketing background, those are the kind of things that you want to highlight on the resume. And there is something to the strategy of how you set your resume up. The most important things and relevant things should be listed further up on the resume. Ideally, and most students should be able to get the resume down to one page. And we're here to work with students to help them figure out how to do that and understand what's important to include and what's not. So there's a lot to the formatting and the strategy of how it's set up. Typically, employers skim a resume, I think 3 to 6 seconds they spend on it. So you want to make sure it's very easy for them to navigate through that resume and find what they need to find quickly, or you might have your resume thrown aside even if you are the perfect candidate.
Yeah, so Maureen's tips are really useful.
Definitely. I think career services definitely helps you get your foot in the door and have some hands-on experience as opposed to the classroom.
Yeah, the connections that you can make through career services is definitely worthwhile for students to take that opportunity to go up there and speak with her and sit down with her and just talk with her.
Definitely.
It's very important. So, kids, college, especially college students, need that, because the job field's becoming more and more competitive. So having someone to, work on your resume and get you prepared is important now.
Yeah, that guidance is definitely key in the world today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next, Maureen filled me in on a great resource where students can find open jobs and direct them right to the right place. Take a look here.
Yes, we have an online job posting system called STAC that we post job, full-time, part-time internship opportunities. We also have scholarships and fellowships available on that system. But yes, we help students with any of that, and alumni are welcome to come back and use these services as well. The STAC system, it's important to note, is available online, so students and alumni can access it from their home.
I think Maureen definitely gave some great advice for the upcoming college graduates, and I hope to take this information and run with it.
Well, thanks to you and Matt for filing those reports. It really gives students an outlook on what to expect for the future and how to prepare for that ever-frightening real world. I'm Liz Kaminski.
I'm Matt Cavallo.
And I'm Craig Altman.